So Animal Crossing has recently taken over my life. I basically eat, sleep, and drink Animal Crossing. The game's only been out for a month and I have over 200 hours in it, which I thought was fairly impressive, but then I go online and I see people have like over 500 hours, which is insane. Is there even 500 hours in a month? I don't even know. Let me look it up, okay? There's 730 hours in a month. So that basically means every second they're awake, they're playing Animal Crossing. That's crazy. Well, I do have 200 hours in the game. My island definitely does not show up. My island is extremely ugly and there's a lot of vacant, empty spots, and that's because most of the time I'm playing Animal Crossing, all I'm doing is running around and talking to like my little villagers, and my villagers are amazing. I have a lot of weird, quirky stories with them, so I thought I would share those stories with you guys by ranking all of my villagers on my island. So yeah, let's just get started. In last place, the number 10 spot, my least favorite villager has to be Twiggy. I mean, she kind of just looks like an angry laughing emoji, and she has the peppy personality, which I'm not really a fan of the peppy personality. It's probably my least favorite personality, so yeah, she probably ranks in the number 10 spot. I know a lot of people like her, and she is the newest villager to my island, so maybe I'll grow to like her, maybe I just haven't had enough experience with her, I guess, but for now, she's definitely gonna rank in the number 10 spot. Again, she's a laughing, angry emoji. It's weird. In the number 9 spot, I have a villager that is very beloved and will probably make people mad that I ranked it so low. We have Zucker. Now, Zucker has an amazing design. He's like a takoyaki octopus. It's so cool. I love Zucker's design. But the thing is, he has this weird fascination with bugs, which I really don't understand. Whenever I give him presents, because usually when I give him presents, I give him like food-related presents. I think it's funny. He's like a villager made out of food, and you're giving him food to eat. He's like a cannibal. But yeah, whenever I give him like fruit or food, he always says this one line where he's like, "Oh, a cherry, the bugs in my floor will love this." So I don't really want to get too attached to him because I feel like one day I'll just go into his house and he'll be gone. Like the bugs will get him. He won't have enough food to sustain the growing bug population in his flooring, and his bugs will have to resort to eating their master. Oh my goodness, that got dark real fast. Alright, let's move on to the next spot. Zucker's number 9. Who's in my number 8 spot? In my number 8 spot is Teddy. Now Teddy, he's a cool dude. I really like him. His design reminds me of Brock from Pokemon, just a really buff version, because he does have the jock personality, and unlike other Animal Crossing villagers where I feel like the jock personality doesn't really fit him, because sometimes it feels like they just give the jock personality to like everyone. Like for instance, Rold. Why does Rold have the jock personality? And Bill, those guys should not have the jock personality, although it is funny that they have it. I feel like the jock personality really fits Teddy. He's a really nice guy, and the only reason he's ranking so low is just because I feel like my other villagers are just that good. Again, I really love my villagers. Oh yeah, also, he made Broccolo move out. Oh, I'm so mad. Alright, so here's like some backstory, some context, because I will be talking about Broccolo later. So when I first got Animal Crossing, my starter villagers were Teddy and Phoebe, and the third villager that moved in was Broccolo. And when he first moved in, I absolutely hated him. He was just so... I just looked at him and I was like, ew, you think you're so quirky and cool with a name like Broccolo, but you're not cool. I mean, you're a little quirky, I guess, but I just don't like you. But over time, he really grew on me. He had the catchphrase, eat it. He always acted like a child. He always like ran around like Naruto style, like ninja style, and it was just so much fun to watch him. He used to always get in fights with Teddy, which was really concerning. I like feared for Broccolo's life, because Broccolo is this like little kid mouse guy that has like a slide in his house, and Teddy is this big buff bear that's always lifting dumbbells. So whenever they get in fights, like if Teddy ever hit Broccolo would be like flying across the island. And yeah, I think Broccolo feared for his life, and that's why he asked to leave the island. And when he asked to leave the island, I was like, okay, well, I really did grow attached to you, like I really like you, but at the same time, like if you want to leave, you can leave. So I let him leave, and when he left, it felt like a part of the island left with him. It was so sad, and I still hold that up to Teddy to this day. Teddy is the reason why Broccolo left my island. If I ever find Broccolo again, I'm definitely inviting him back to my island. He is just such a swell guy to have, and I feel like he's so underrated. That whole conversation changed from like a conversation about Teddy to a conversation about Broccolo. But yeah, overall, Teddy, he's a cool villager. It's definitely a nice jock villager to have. I just don't like him because he scared Broccolo away. All right, moving on to the number 7 spot. In the number 7 spot, we have Phoebe. And I actually really like Phoebe. Phoebe is super nice, and I love her design. Her design is so cool. The reason why she ranks so low on my list is because she's a compulsive liar. So one day we were having a conversation, and she was talking about her catchphrase. She was like, oh yeah, my catchphrase Sparky, I don't really like it anymore. What should I change it to? And I was like, oh, you're gonna change your catchphrase? That's great, because I hate the catchphrase Sparky. Every time she says Sparky, it feels like as if she's talking to me as if I'm a dog. So I was like, of course, let's change the catchphrase. And I came up with the catchphrase Silly Goose, and she was like, oh, Silly Goose, that's such a cool catchphrase. I'm gonna use it now. See you later, Silly Goose. And I was like, that is great. That's a much better catchphrase than Sparky. Little did I know, later that day, I catch her having another conversation with another one of my villagers that we're gonna talk about in the future. His name is Rodeo, and Rodeo is terrifying, but again, we'll talk about him later. So she was having a conversation with Rodeo, and Rodeo was asking Phoebe how she got such a cool catchphrase. And instead of telling the truth, she says, oh, you mean Silly Goose? Oh yeah, one day a bunch of like bad guys were beating up on my best friend, and I came up to them and I scared them away, and they ran away and screamed Silly Goose. And ever since that day, I've been using that catchphrase, Silly Goose. And of course, Rodeo, he's an idiot, or at least that's what he wants you to think. So he was like, oh, I totally believe that. I'm gonna start using Silly Goose from now on. And Phoebe was like, yeah, you should. And I was listening to this conversation, and I was like, that's not what happened, you liar. So yeah, the reason why she ranks so low is because she's a compulsive liar. Let's move on to the next spot. In the number 6 spot, we have Maddie, and Maddie is one of the villagers who's really grown on me. I really hated Maddie when she first came. Actually, I didn't hate her at first because I totally forgot she was part of the island. She was such a forgettable, boring design, and again, she had the peppy personality like Twiggy, and I just do not like the peppy personality. So yeah, I kind of just forgot about her. She was just so boring and was my least favorite villager for the longest time. But what changed that is one day, I'm really mean, one day I was like, oh, I hate Maddie so much, I'm gonna go into the Able Sister shop and I'm gonna buy all like the stupid clothing, like the weirdest clothing they have, and give it to Maddie. So that's what I did. I bought frog costumes, a hot dog outfit, I gave her like mustache glasses, and all of a sudden she became a lot less forgettable because she's walking around the island with these really stupid costumes, and she really grew on me to the point where she's now in my number 6 spot. I love Maddie now. Maddie is great. Okay, moving on to my number 5 spot. In my number 5 spot, we have Rodeo, which we've talked about before. Now, Rodeo was the villager who replaced Broccolo, and when he moved in, I was terrified. I mean, like, look at those eyes. This guy was so scary. They were like complete opposites. Broccolo was this annoying little blue mouse that ran around like Naruto, and Rodeo was this giant bull with vicious red eyes. Oh, he's terrifying. And the second he moved in, I was like, I want Broccolo back. Now, of course, when a murderer moves into town, what are you gonna do? You're gonna try to get on their good side, right, so they don't kill you. So what I decided to do was I had some knives in my storage. So I brought out my knives and I gave it to Rodeo, and I gave it to him. He said something like, oh, how did you know I was looking for these very dangerous knives? And I was like, oh my god, he's gonna kill me. And yeah, ever since that day, I've been trying to avoid Rodeo at all costs. He's been sending me letters, inviting me to dinner, but of course I'm not gonna go to dinner with the murderer. Like, who do you think I am? Oh yeah, also, he has the same fascination with bugs that Zucker has, although I feel like Zucker is actually talking about the bugs in his floor. For Rodeo, I think the bugs is like a code word for like the dead bodies of his victims. He's like, oh, thanks for the cherry, I'm gonna feed it to my bugs. And I'm like, okay, Rodeo. Honestly, the only reason Rodeo's in the number 5 spot is because if I didn't put him in the top 5, he would kill me. Alright, let's move on to the top 4 now. Okay, in the number 4 spot, we have Spike. And Spike, just like Rodeo, is a really scary villager, and I did not like him at first. But unlike Rodeo, Spike actually has a heart. He's a really nice guy. I caught him in a conversation with Lolly. We'll talk about Lolly later in this list, spoilers. But he was having a conversation with Lolly, and Spike was like, Lolly, how do I be popular like you? Like, everyone keeps avoiding me. I I just want to talk to other people around the village. How do I become more friendly? And Lolly was like, oh, that's impossible. There's no way you can be like as friendly as me. Who do you think you're talking to? But maybe try to steal my catchphrase. He's like, oh, I can steal your catchphrase. All right, from now on, I'm gonna use the catchphrase, "'Tis adorable." So ever since that day, he's like this really scary looking rhino villager, but then he says "'tis adorable," and I just thought that was really funny. And I always like gift him like the girliest things, so his house is so like childish, and he's just so much fun to talk to, and he's a really nice guy. So yeah, I really like Spike, and that's why he's in the number 4 spot. Just a genuine good person. All right, finally, let's move on to the top 3. These are the big boys, guys. I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. I know these stories are really cringe, but like this is what I like doing in my Animal Crossing world. I just like making really stupid stories. All right, well, in my number 3 spot, I have Ankha, and there's not really a story associated with Ankha. I just really like her design. I think her design is really cool. She has this really amazing Egyptian theme, and her house is just gold. It's all gold, and it's so cool. It actually makes me scared to give Ankha stuff, because you know when you give villagers furniture or bugs or fish or whatever they put in their house, I'm scared to give Ankha furniture, because like if she puts down furniture, it'll ruin like the aesthetic of her amazing house. But yeah, I just really like her design, and I think her house is really cool, and she is a cat. Cats are like the best villagers ever. So yeah, she ranks in my number 3 spot. In my number 2 spot, we have Huck, and I didn't really like Huck at first. I thought he was like a really ugly villager. He was actually my campsite villager, my first campsite villager, and I tried to avoid him for 3 days. I didn't visit the campsite for 3 days because I thought maybe if I don't talk to him, he'll leave. Spoilers, he never left. I had to take him, and I begrudgingly took him, but when he came into my island, I looked at his house, and his house, it looked like he lived in a swamp. It looked like he lived in like Shrek's house. It looked so funny, and I thought that was hilarious. And then I had an amazing idea to give Huck a suit, because I thought it'd be really funny if he had like this garbage house, but he dressed like super fancy. So I gave him a suit, and ever since that moment, my perspective of Huck changed. He looked so much better in a suit. He is such a classy guy, and when you mix that with his smug personality, it's just amazing. So every day I always make sure to give Huck a suit as a present, and he's just so classy. And yeah, he's in my number 2 spot. I flippin' love Huck. Huck is amazing. If I ever get another villager, if one of my villagers ever moves out, then I'm definitely going to go island hopping looking for a female frog for Huck, just because my boy Huck deserves a girlfriend. Alright, moving on to my number 1 spot, and in my number 1 spot, my favorite villager on my island, actually my favorite villager in all of Animal Crossing, it has to be Lolly, and Lolly is just adorable. She is the best creation in all of Nintendo. She is great. By far the best villager. There is no villager better than Lolly. I remember when she first moved into my town, she was my 4th villager, so I had Teddy, I had Phoebe, and I had Broccolo on my island before her. And I remember I really liked Phoebe and I really liked Teddy. I was like, dang, I got 2 amazing starting villagers. It doesn't get better than this. But then Lolly moved in, and I was like, screw Teddy, screw Phoebe. It's a flippin' cat, and it's amazing, and I still love her. She's like my favorite. Again, I don't, there's like no word to describe how much I like Lolly. Anyway, so yeah, that was me ranking all of the villagers on my island. I know it was like kind of cringy, but like I just have a lot of stories of my villagers, and I kind of want to share it with the internet, although I don't think anyone's gonna watch this. So yeah, see you guys later. Have a nice day. If you guys want to see more content on my channel, I don't really know what I'm gonna upload here. It's probably gonna be more Animal Crossing, maybe an Animal Crossing playthrough. I don't know. So yeah, leave a like. I do have an Elgato capture card, so I can make quality gameplay, I guess. Anyway, yeah, see you guys later. Have a nice day. Peace.